TinkerCAD tips. Well, you asked for it, so I recently did a video just showing very quickly over the course of 2 or 3 minutes how I made this Twisty Fidget in TinkerCAD. And I had several people ask for a narrated version, so we're going to go through that. But full disclosure, there are parts of this process that you're going to need to be very, very patient. We're going to take some time to render or group things together. So be prepared to get up, walk away, go get a cup of coffee or a bottle of water. Now here's a completed version of this Twisty Fidget, and you can see where it's printed in 2 parts. And if you look real close here, there is a bit of a tolerance, a gap that we're going to build in. And if you take and increase the size of this model and make it larger, of course, that gap or tolerance is going to be larger as well, making it easier to fit together. So let's get started on making this, but be prepared to be patient. I've started a new project here in TinkerCAD, a blank slate, and we're going to begin by going to the snap grid here, and for now we're going to be changing this to 0.1 millimeters. And we're going to begin with a cube up here. We're going to drag that out. Now I want to use the dialog here for this next step. So the first thing that we're going to create is the solid part. We're going to need 2 parts here, a solid twist and a hole twist. So we're going to start with the solid here. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to use the dialog. So on this one, the radius we want to be 1 millimeter. Steps remains at 10. Length 2.2. Oh, I'm sorry, that should be 2. Width 20. Height also 2. And what you end up here is with something that looks like a long capsule. Notice the ends are rounded over. Okay, we're going to do the same thing here, but let's bring out another cube. We're going to make the whole part of it. Now there's got to be some tolerance we're going to build in here. So first thing is we're going to change that to a hole. The radius, instead of being 1, will be 1.1. Steps is still 10. Length we want to make 2.2. Width 20.2. And the height also 2.2. So we end up with same sort of a thing, a long capsule that's a hole shape, but it's slightly larger than this one over here. All right, so let's go back to this one. We're going to do some lathe duplication now. While we have that selected, I'm going to click on duplicate or hit Control D. Now, without ever deselecting away from that object, we're going to make 2 moves here. The first is we're going to bring it up 0.1 millimeters. Snap grid is at 0.1. Holding down the Control key, I'm going to cursor up once. And then I'm going to click on this rotation handle, and I'm going to change it. Whoop, we got to start that over. We clicked away. There's our up, rotation, 1 degree. All right, now I'm just going to begin without ever selecting away, hitting Control D or the duplicate up here. And we're going to keep doing that until we end up with 181 of them. It'll do basically a full rotation. As you see here, this could take a little bit of time to come around. There we go. Now if I select this entire area, it says there's 187. I want 181, so we need to delete the top 6. So I'm going to click here on that top one, delete 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, let's make sure we have 181. There's 181 of those. And we're going to do the same thing with this one over here. Control D to duplicate. Hold down the Control key, cursor up once. Click on the rotation handle, 1 degree. Got to make sure it's turning in the same direction. And we'll begin hitting Control D. Once you have 181 duplications of each of these, now what we need to do is to save these under your creations. And the reason that we're going to do that is because these shapes and their nature, because there's a lot of rounded corners and stuff, they're very, very large to TinkerCAD. But by saving them as a shape, then deleting these originals and bringing these back out, we're going to save a little bit of that space and hopefully allow TinkerCAD to run a little bit more efficiently. So what I'm going to do over here is we're going to end up grouping these together and then saving them as the shape. Now this is where some patience is going to come in. I'm going to select all 181 of those, click Group. And I'm going to do the same thing to the solid one over here, select all of it, click Group. And now you're going to need to be patient. Now it's time to go get that bottle of water and come back when these are done. It may take a little while. It just depends upon your computer and how fast TinkerCAD is running that day. Once they've resolved, they'll look like this, and we're going to save them over here in under your creations. It's a drop down. It's this top one up here. Anything you save over here can be reused in other TinkerCAD projects. It's sort of like a workspace. So we're going to select one of these. We'll start with the solid one. Click Create Shape. And you have to, again, have some patience here while it renders. It'll bring in the image, but in the meantime, we can come up here and give it a name, and we'll call it Twisty Solid. You can put in a description if you'd like, or certain tags. Now we have to wait for the image to resolve here before we click on Save Shape. When it's ready to look like this, we have the image of our solid twist here, called Twisty Solid. I'm going to click on Save Shape. It'll pop up down here and say Publishing Part. Give that a moment. Shape successfully created. So now we're going to do the whole part here. Create Shape. We'll call it Twisty Hole. We'll give it a moment to render, and then we'll click on Save Shape. All right, that one's ready. It's rendered the image. I've called it Twisty Hole. Click on Save Shape. It says Publishing Part. So I'm getting near 10 minutes, so I'm going to end this. This is part 1. Part 2 will be to follow. As always, like, follow, and share. And if you have any questions or comments, you know where to drop those. And we'll see you in the next one for part 2 for this Twisty Fidget.